My name is Doc. I'm one of the founders of the Hood Collective, and today we're going to be talking about more effective social media strategies for 2024. It is no secret that social media is really challenging for the cannabis industry for obvious reasons. The platforms are, if not openly hostile, passively aggressively hostile to cannabis content. Many of you are probably coming to this video because you're shadow banned or you've been outright banned from your accounts. We all know social media in cannabis, it's really hard. And so we're going to be looking at some things that we can be doing better in 2024 to make sure that not only are you surviving on social media, but hopefully you'll be thriving. Before I really get into it, let's look at a few of the other problems. We mentioned shadow banning, but some other reasons why social media is becoming more and more difficult. One is there's just so much content out there, and as there's more and more cannabis businesses and more states coming online, it's becoming harder and harder to stand out. And you're going to find that, you know, accounts that got into it early are the ones that have all of the numbers, all of the followers, and it's really hard to break in now. They had it easy at the beginning when they were one of the first ones, and so it's really tough now for newer companies to stand out. So that's one problem. Another problem is what has been dubbed the Enshittification of social media. It's a term that means that these platforms are actively making their platform worse over time because they make it really easy at first for people to get followers, to be seen, and then they start to slowly add more and more ads. So if you're not doing paid ads, it becomes harder and harder to be found because they're promoting the paid content over the free content. And then if you're one of those paid advertisers, at first it's easy to stand out. You're getting a high ROI. You're getting a lot of engagement for your ads, but over time they then are making it worse and worse for the paid customers, for the ones you think they would be modeling the platform for, and they're just trying to squeeze every last dollar out of their customers, and they're making it worse and worse for them. And they are, this isn't by accident, they are actively seeing how bad they can make it, but still keep their users and still keep their advertisers. That's what the algorithms are doing for these companies. So the first thing we're going to look at are the time wasters, the things you want to avoid because they aren't effective, or even if at first they seem effective, you know, you quickly find out that there are more effective ways to go about it. The top of that list is, and this is really common, is you see a video or a video style that's really popular, and so you want to, oh, I'm going to do what they're doing. And it seems like it would make sense that you would do that because the algorithm likes this kind of content. I'm going to make that kind of content too. But if you're just following what other people are doing, actually it's really hard because they've been doing it for a while. They've been doing it well. And so the algorithm's like, oh, this content is doing well, and they're serving it up. And if you're just repeating it, it's going to be a copy and not as good as of a copy. And that's not what you want to do, and that's not the way to find success. Another mistake I see people making is just too much content. You know, you don't need to be posting constantly. You don't, like, I was talking to someone yesterday, in fact, he's like, oh yeah, I started working with a social media company and they're putting out like 3 or 4 posts a day. I was like, 3 or 4 posts, that's a lot. And it costs a lot of money, and the more, like, there's like a graph where it's like too little content, the right amount, and then too much content. If you're on the side of too much, then you're wasting your money, right? And another mistake that brands are often making, especially smaller brands that don't have a lot of money to spend, is you don't want to spend a lot of money on your content and producing highly curated content that is very professional. Yeah, it seems like a great idea, and normally I would be encouraging it, But when it comes to social media, we're seeing time and time again that the content that we're spending a lot of time and a lot of money on producing for our clients will get outperformed with, you know, some shots with a cell phone that they took of people just waving at the camera, you know? And that's because the algorithm is identifying authentic content over, you know, curated content. Now, there should be a balance, because you want to make sure that you are representing your brand in a professional way and in a consistent way. And so you don't want to just throw up anything on there. You want to put some thought into it. You want to make sure it's consistent and on brand. But the point is that, especially if you don't have a big budget, you don't want to just throw a bunch of money at content and think that's going to solve your problem. It's not. So those are the things we don't want to be doing. What should we be doing in 2024? I'm just going to go through these really quickly. We have a blog post up that's going to go in more depth into all these things. Number one, you want fresh, original content. You don't want to just follow what everyone else is doing. You want to, whatever you're doing, you want to put your own spin on it. You want to have your own voice. You want it to be unique to you, unique in the industry, and you're not getting this content anywhere else. So that's number one. Along the same lines, express unique opinions. If you're on there, you know, if you go live and you're talking about whatever, don't just be repeating what everyone else is saying. You know, what do you think? What is, you know, what can only you, your brand, express? And so be a unique voice, and that's going to be authentic, and it's going to draw more response and more engagement, and that's what the algorithm loves. Another thing that you should definitely think about when you're crafting your social media strategy is, how are you providing value to your followers? How are you educating your followers? Too often, brands are focused on, what do I want my customers to know, or potential customers to know, instead of thinking, what do they want? What kind of content do they want? Put yourself in their shoes, provide that kind of content. We have what we usually apply a 30-70 rule. 70% of your content should be customer facing, focused on what they want: educational content, fun content, you know, beautiful content, whatever it is, content that they're gonna like, photos of dogs, that can never fail. And then 30%, or, you know, maybe even less, content is, this is us, this is who we are, we're like, you know, making our pitch, we're highlighting our products as much as, you know, the social media platforms will allow. So 70% of content is focused on them, 30% is focused on you. Now next, it's going to sound a little contradictory, but leverage trends. And I don't mean follow what everyone else is doing, but when you see a trending template on Reels, when you see a meme that's going through, you know, it's good to capitalize on that, but in your own unique way. Don't just do the, you know, don't just repost what someone else has done, and don't just repeat what someone else has said. See what the trend is, add your own in your own way, create your own little, you know, trending video to follow whatever the trend is, but it's yours and it's unique and it's, you know, gonna resonate with your audience. Another great tip these days, collaborate. Work with influencers, work with partners, work with other brands that, you know, aren't direct competitors. Maybe even partner with a competitor. But, you know, do collaborations where, you know, we're sharing it on my channel, we're sharing it on your channel, we're you know, doing competing posts, or, you know, we're doing, you know, whatever you can come up with. There's so many ideas that it's just, I can't even come up with all of them right now, but there's a lot of things that you can do with partners, with influencers, with user-generated content. But that kind of, you know, real partnership, real engagement will help fuel your success in social media. If you are the type of person that likes going online, that likes going live, share your personal stories. And maybe it's not you doing it yourself, but you're doing it with your employees, you're doing it, you're sharing the company story. It could be in graphic form, but you're making it personal. So that content that is focused, that 30% that's focused on you, make it personal, make it emotional. And I don't mean, sad. I mean like that you're creating an emotional connection with your audience. If you're doing it in a genuine way, because you're sharing your company story, you're sharing your personal story, that's one of the most effective ways to find your audience. Another really important thing is tailor your content for the platform. It seems obvious when you say it, but a lot of people don't. I usually recommend that unless you are, again, so large that you can afford to cover every platform, you focus on your 1 or 2 platforms that make the most sense for you, and then you tailor content for that. And then maybe for the lesser important platforms for your business, you're just repeating the content. But if this platform is important to you, make the content specific to that platform. It might mean vertical videos. It might mean how you orient your graphics. It might mean obviously content for LinkedIn needs to be a lot different than content for Facebook or Twitter or etc. And finally, this is really important in 2024, go live. Whether it's you yourself or your social media person or whomever it is, use the live functions on every platform now has that. And by going live, you are more likely to get engagement. You're going to see in real time who is watching. You're going to be able to interact in real time. And most importantly, the platforms are pushing this kind of live content, so you're more likely to get the engagement you want. So that's a lot of tips, but I think, if you focus on doing most, if not all of these things in 2024, you're going to really see an improvement. Notice that it wasn't about spending more money. It's about the types of content and really focusing on what your audience wants, what the algorithm wants, and being true to who you are as a brand. And that's how you're going to find success. So that's it for this video. I really appreciate you all watching. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, you can leave them below. You can reach out to us on our website. I really appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.